So I'm sure a lot of you are wondering, Jordan, how do you boost? You make a lot of honey. I actually posted a boost video earlier today. How do you do it? Well, I'm going to be explaining that in this video. Stay tuned. So before I begin, I'd like to just state that boosting really is a commitment sometimes. Boosting requires a lot of effort, a lot of preparation, and ultimately just a lot of planning in general. Before you even boost, you should look at your hive. Now, luckily for you, I don't have to explain that in today's video. I actually have a video already on blue hive composition. By the way, if I didn't clarify yet, this video is going to be about blue hive boosting. So you guys can check that out. It will be in the description. So now that you have your hive set up and ready for boosting, by the way, you can also copy mine. I'm going to be talking about the buffs, right? There's a lot of permanent buffs that you're going to need for blue hive boosting. If you have the tide popper, I recommend raking up your tide blessing all the way up to times 1.15. Okay, all the way up to max. If you don't worry about this. Skip this part. If you have like the pedal wands, just skip this part. If you have Popstar, grind here in Strawberry Field, keep getting Popstars and keep popping bubbles until your bubble buff up here goes all the way up to times 6. That's the max, right? Times 6, yeah. Until it goes all the way up to max. That way you have enough capacity to start boosting and you don't burn through all your microconverters in like, what, 2 minutes. I'm going to show a clip of what bubble bloating should look like. See how I start running around here trying to pop as many bubbles as I can after hitting 30 blue bomb tokens. Right, activating all my frogs. Here and there. I just try to get the Popstar as big as possible. You'll see up here, the bubble bloat is starting to stack. Just keep going, like so. When you're done with this, you'll know you're done when this bubble bloat bar is all the way up, or when it hits 6 hours. When it hits 6 times, not 6 hours. By the way, this Popstar is huge. I never got Popstar this big. It's best to bloat with friends if you're trying to get the boost on quickly, because bloating with friends will actually help this go up faster. I try to, but I don't have a lot of blue hives around to help me, so I'm kind of stuck solo. Okay, so great. Now you have Tide Blessing Max and Bubble Blow Max. Just pretend it's up there, guys. Now, this is the part that requires a little bit of luck. You're going to go to the Wind Shrine and donate your item. Which items do I donate, Jordan? So, if you're trying to do like a decent boost, maybe just like a normal, like everyday boost, I would recommend donating a purple potion. Okay? That should give you decent hits. Or if you're doing a mega boost like what I did yesterday, and it's not a once in everyday thing, I recommend donating a mythic egg or even a gifted mythic egg depending on how serious you are about this boost. So what'll happen, right? I'll do a bit of a quick example for you guys. Let me just donate a purple potion. The winds will surround you. And personally, I recommend boosting in Stump as a blue hive. That's where I always go for my mega boosts. If you don't get it and you're trying to do a crazy boost, you might not want to stick with blue flower. I would recommend just going in Stump. But for the sake of this video, we're just going to stick with blue flower. Okay, great. You've arrived in the field, and you're ready to begin. So, what I recommend doing first is literally just popping all your buffs, right? If you have codes to use, like I did yesterday, use them now. Do not use your codes unless you know it gives you a buff that you're going to use in the boost. Okay, if it gives you a buff that gives you a boost in the field, I wouldn't recommend using the code until it's about time to start boosting them. So say I have like this random code, right, and it's going to give me the blue flower buffs. Okay, I would also recommend doing all those. Now you're going to want to pop your loaded dice. I'm not going to do it, but just pop it and it'll give you, wait till it gives you the blue flower buff. Now that you've done that, go ahead and use your consumables. I recommend a super smoothie and a marshmallow bean. Only use festive beans on insane boosts like what I did yesterday. If it's not an insane boost and it's an everyday boost, please for the love of God, do not use a festive bean. You're wasting it. So, boosting requires a lot of focus, okay? Like, now that the boost has begun, and we have our duration of winds and field, what you're gonna do is just activate your auto gumdrops and coconuts, and run around like so. Make sure you keep an eye out for all the tokens on the field, especially blue bomb tokens. That way you can get your Popstar activated. Popstar is really good because it gives you that blue pollen buff, which is great for spiking your boost in terms of honey per second. Also, for me, I'm using Star Shower as well. So just make sure you catch that. Be on the lookout for anything that's going on, any tokens you have to collect. Also, don't look at your honey too much. I know it's hard, especially when you're making a lot of honey. Don't look at it too much. Just focus on really grinding. See, I recommend turning context off because it makes it easier to see what you're doing in the middle of a boost. So when you fill up, make sure you use your microconverters. Don't do what I did and go to the instant converter unless it's your final conversion. And yeah, that's pretty much how you boost. So it's very important to get all your buffs ready beforehand. It's very important to get your focus in on the tokens to ultimately make the most honey. As you'll see here, I got Barrymore, so now I'm really trying to get as many tokens as I can here. And I'm also keeping an eye out on the Popstar numbers. See how it's on 16. I'm also looking at Star Shower to try to coordinate the ability so that we can get Popstar and Star Shower at the same time. You'll see from the previous video that when that happened, I was making 56 billion honey per second. So that's why it's very important to also coordinate while you're boosting. As you can see, I can't really coordinate with this tornado going everywhere. Alright, see. Now I get Popstar in a second. It's gonna take a second. And now what I want to do is really focus on popping the bubbles. With me having the Tide Popper, I'm also trying to shoot silently at the bubbles over there. Because especially in Blue Flower Field, it's pretty hard to get all the bubbles since they spawn all the way down the field a lot. And yeah, I would recommend boosting with a friend. It's Blue, as you can see. I don't have many friends to boost with. I'm boosting solo. My Popstar isn't breaking 250. In a max boost, it should get to 250 as fast as possible, because that's where the blue pollen maxes out to, I believe, times 4. And that's when you start making a lot of honey, especially when you can mix it with the Star Shower buff and get a whole load of Inspire with it. Okay, now let's talk about Nectars and Planters, right? For a blue hive, there are 3 Nectars I recommend you get. Those 3 are Motivating, Comforting, and Satisfying, okay? You want these 3 for your boost because Satisfy gives you more honey when you convert your balloon. Comforting gives you more blue pollen, and so does Motivating. That's why I recommend getting these 3 for your boost. Now, how do I recommend getting these and storing them? Well, what I recommend doing is planting 3 of your planters. Keep an eye out for which ones multiply Satisfying, which ones multiply Comforting. Same thing for Motivating. I would recommend planting it in a field that gives you Satisfying. I will show on screen now the different fields and which Nectars you can get from those fields. Then I'd recommend storing your Satisfying up there. That way when you macro, you can get the buffs of the Motivating and Comforting. When you macro, Satisfying is probably the least useful. So I recommend putting Satisfying in the pot up there. In terms of Comforting and Motivating, get those maxed out too, but try to keep them up because you can only hold one thing in the Nectar pot at a time. Once you have all 3 of those and they're maxed out, you can make your donation. Okay? So that's everything for Nectars. Now, right, there are many major points during a boost, okay? The first one is to start. That's where you pop all your buffs and go insane. Pop your Festive Beam, your one Festive Beam, because you can only use 1 per boost, considering its massive cooldown of about an hour and 30 minutes. So that's the start, right? Then you're going to keep boosting. You have a point where you're going to run out of microconverters. When that happens, your best bet is, hopefully, the boost will be over by then, but your best bet is just to use the instant converters and convert your hive, even though that wastes a lot of time and will ultimately give you less honey, but you never want to give up during the boost, never. It can be kind of frustrating sometimes. There have been boosts where I lost all my microconverters in literally a matter of 4 minutes. So, hey, that's why you get the wins, so that like hopefully, like you see how it gives me 50% conversion, hopefully like that can kind of carry you so you don't have to use as many microconverters while you're boosting. Once that happens, you're gonna have your midpoint, right? This is where your field boost buff, not the wins, the buff begins to run out. This is where you choose between a 15-minute boost or a 30-minute boost, okay? If you're gonna do a 30-minute boost, what I recommend doing is popping the buff there, going back to your hive with a whirligig, and converting your balloon on the spot. Then coming back to the field and doing the remainder of the 15 minutes, then at the end of that, convert your balloon one last time. If it's a 15-minute boost, skip the last part. Don't add another boost. Just finish off and go to your hive and convert your balloon. So, should I do a 30-minute boost or a 15-minute, you might be asking? See, I like to do 30-minute for the crazy boosts. It's really up to you. If you don't want to use as many resources and it's just a casual boost, I recommend 15 minutes. Okay? If you want to do 30 minutes, just use a super smoothie and then use like the basic consumables as I'll do the entire 30 minutes. Please don't use 2 of these. I just highly don't recommend it. Oh yeah, also I almost forgot. Get your honeybee before you start the boost. Get like the honeybee conversion, it's very helpful. Okay, especially when you're converting that balloon it's very, very nice. And lastly, all I have to say is some stuff you shouldn't forget while boosting. A, place down your sprinkler. B, auto gumdrops, auto coconuts. C, get your micro converters ready. If you have a festive bean, you don't have to worry about that. D, I think, I already lost count of the letters. Turn your honeysuckle on. Don't forget to use whirligigs. Use your loaded dice for the buff, and then a glitter for a ×4 boost overall. Use your super smoothie. Marshmallow beef, it's a big boost. Cloud vials. I didn't do this that much at yesterday's boost, which I should have. I totally forgot. Don't use box of frogs. The balloons, okay? If it's an insane boost that you feel like that's never gonna happen again, use the black ones. Decent boosts or lower, I just don't even use them. These things are precious and very rare to come across. And remember to use your pencils beforehand. Donate these if it's gonna be a good boost. And yeah, those are just the final things that you're gonna want to keep in mind before you boost or during your boost. Anyway, that's gonna be about it. I hope you guys really benefit from this guide. I hope it helps you make the most honey possible as a blue hive, and I hope you learned something new today. Anyways, I'm Jordan, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.